recently you just can't talk about Mario without going into a really deep discussion about what's original and what's not. And to be fair, I did get to play some New Super Mario Bros. 2, and quite frankly, it is one of the laziest excuses for a sequel I have ever seen. I don't think that can really be disputed. It seems like the new one on Wii U actually has some thought put into it, but I'm still on the fence. The idea of paying full price for another NSMB game just seems so bleh. And really, look how Nintendo used to make 2D Mario games. Can you blame me for having this approach? Mario 3 and World still get constantly brought up, and rightfully deserved, but if anything, there is another Mario game filled with original ideas that's just gone forgotten, and that's Super Mario Land 2 for the Game Boy. Maybe I'm just crazy, but no one seems to talk about this sequel, when I'd go as far as to say this is the most original and unconventional 2D Mario game in the plumber's history. Well, except for the American Mario 2, which, you know. Thanks in part to good old Miyamoto actually not having a thing to do with this one. Just like the first Mario Land, this was handled by a designer by the name of Hiroji Kiyotake, which guaranteed I butchered the pronunciation of. Let's jump into the review and get into why Mario Land 2 is just so different. Now, Mario Land 2 completely changed the game as far as story is concerned, and wrap your head around it because it's quite the insane story. But not only do you not save a princess, neither Bowser nor Peach show up in any way, shape, or form. I wouldn't believe it if I didn't already know this game existed. Instead, the story of Mario Land 2 involves Mario getting his castle stolen, which, by the way, Mario has a castle now, just so we're on the same level. And the thief is Wario, who made his grand debut here. And to get back into the castle, you need to get back the 6 golden coins, and, there's a subtitle of the game. So everyone knows Wario now. He's the pudgy rival to Mario who wears yellow and has a fetish for money, and he made his first appearance here. So not only was it just a nice change of pace, but somehow Wario left enough of an impression to continue on and star in some stellar platformers and later minigame collections on his own. But, that's another thing. Wario is well known for being a greedy SOB, right? So you would think that they'd use him to some extent in New Super Mario Bros. 2, a game centered around coins, but, instead, Bowser and the Koopa Kids again. Oh, good. I'm not gonna waste your time explaining the gameplay mechanics of a Mario game. Run, jump, boop on enemies, bust boxes, boom boom boom, you already know this. He controls exactly as you want him to, and even has the spin jump now from Super Mario World to break boxes under you. And as for power-ups, there are 2. The Fire Flower, which... duh, and the new Carrot, which turns Mario into a rabbit, and is this game's hovering power-up. The rabbit ears are oddly adorable, but it's just another power-up where you hold the jump button and float your way down to victory. But the core differences in Mario Land 2 aren't in how you play, it's what you play. Interestingly enough, when you start a new game, you have a normal level that gives you the chance to master Mario's control, but once you beat that, you're thrown into an overworld that gives you the chance to go to 6 different worlds at any pace you want. It's not World 1, World 2, World 3, nah, you can go to one world, do one level, and back out and go to another world. Granted, the levels only take about 20 minutes to complete, but there's just something about having the freedom to do whatever you want that's just awesome. The levels themselves don't stray too far from what's typical for Mario. Start at the left, run to the right. The only real change to the classic formula is that the end of levels have a regular exit and a bell that you can ring to throw you into a bonus game out of 2, which give you the chance to get some extra lives and different power-ups. It's pretty much the same exact thing they did in the original Super Mario Land, and it's still pretty cool here. And as far as the 6 different worlds go, they're all pretty unique for a Mario adventure. There's the underwater world, Turtle Zone, the machine-based insides of a robotic Mario in Mario Zone, where the level that takes place in the crotch is filled with balls. I just thought you'd like to know. The Halloween-based Pumpkin Zone, shrinking down to the size of an ant and exploring a house in Macro Zone, climbing a tree and platforming on leaves in Tree Zone, and lastly, and just hear me out on this, riding an express bubble from the friendly neighborhood Stone Hippo to a portal that takes you to outer space to do some low-G platforming in Space Zone. I don't know, seems legit. Each of the worlds only have about 3 to 4 levels each and some secret levels, and again you can beat them in about 15-20 minutes, but this game does something that newer 2D Mario games seriously lack. Each level does something different to keep them memorable. So while there aren't that many levels, each one stands out on its own, which is something that the new Super Mario games barely do. The bosses for all of these worlds are totally different also. There's an octopus inside of a whale, the 3 little pig heads, the evil witch Sabesa, Ricky the Rat, the returning Tatonga from the original land, which is pretty sweet, and the bird Rodonkel, which is quite the name. But to be fair, they're all about as difficult as trying to land on a Goomba, but hey, I can appreciate the new faces. The final boss fight with Wario, on the other hand, is pretty awesome. Since he's a fellow, I don't know, wearer of caps, he could use the Fire Flower and Carrot against you, making for a pretty memorable final boss, which again, the new Super Mario Bros. Games don't do. And lastly, in the overworld, there's a little bonus HUD where you can bet 4 different increments of coins for power-ups and extra lives, and you get a huge amount of coins often, so it's a nice extra. Imagine that. A Mario game where you get a bunch of coins and you have something to do with them. How about that? I just totally knocked New Super Mario Bros. 2 like 4 times in the past 5 minutes. Now, I know this is the Game Boy, but this game itself actually looks really good for only having 4 colors, all of which are a shade of black and white. The worlds feel very lively, the animations are really solid, and it's certainly much appreciated having Mario not take up 5% of the screen. Obviously now, the game's not going to blow anyone away, but in the grand scheme of the monochromatic console, I'd say Mario Land 2 is quite near the top. And the soundtrack is pretty good too. All the songs feel like they perfectly fit in a Mario game. The athletic theme is insanely catchy, the Star Maze theme just makes my ears melt, but I can't imagine why anybody thought this was a good idea. The Star theme isn't even a song here. Now, the original Mario Land had the Can-Can, which, to be fair, is one of the catchiest songs in existence, but this is just what? Obviously, this doesn't detract from the game much, but still, what? Presentation-wise, Mario Land 2 is top-notch for the Game Boy, but still, why did you do that? And that's all there really needs to be said about Super Mario Land 2. I really didn't need to say much about the core gameplay, because, let's be honest, it's 2D Mario, you kinda know what to expect. But as I said before, it's not how you play, it's what you play. The unique worlds you go through and the enemies you jump on makes this Mario game a one-of-a-kind, and it's the same reason I love a game like Doki Doki Mario. I would much rather play a not-as-fun game that tries to be different than a game that's fun because it played it too safe for its own good, if that makes any sense. Super Mario Land 2 is on the 3DS eShop for $4, so if you haven't played it before, go right ahead and give it a shot. It's 1/10 of the price of New Super Mario Bros. 2, so you can't really go wrong. And just so I'd cover my own ass, I think New Super Mario Bros. 2 is fun. I'm not gonna give you crap if you bought it, I just think it's insanely lazy. Alright? Alright. But I'm probably gonna preach to the choir now, but I'm sure we would all love to see someone else steal Bowser's spotlight in the next real Mario game. The RPGs do it all the time, why can't the next platformer do it? Details have recently emerged saying that the Koopa Kids will be back in the Wii U Mario game, so that's kind of a lost cause. But what's stopping Nintendo? It's Mario. The game will sell whether Bowser is going to be the main bad guy or not. I swear, if Wario, or Wart, or Tatanga, or even some new guy for all I know was the next main bad guy in a Mario game, it would easily be worth the $50 or whatever the hell it's worth. Guaranteed. That is how easy it is to sway us simple and stupid Nintendo fans. But with all that said, thanks for watching this review/rant, I guess. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and as always, I'll catch y'all next time.